Okay, we are rolling, and it's the next day after the the first half of the four pillars of what completes what I call a training system or filling in the gap. And this is David Ackerish with Black Dragon Modern Combat. And so I've done parts 1 and 2. Let's recap a little bit. Part 1, hope everyone's doing great. The world's falling apart, but hey, it's been falling apart for thousands of years, so just hold yourself together as it falls apart. Anyways, I am going to recap. So part 1 was the form. So just learning a form of any type of system, doesn't matter what it is. There's some type of form or movement that is usually taught at the very beginning. I mean, that's just the way it is. Barring warm-ups and that other kind of training or endurance or whatever it is. You know, I've seen schools where you run around for half an hour and then you do sit-ups and all that. And anyways, you pay people a lot of money for that. So the form, the kata, learning something that usually not going to use any type of anything other than the air and yourself in your warm-up gear or your warm-up suit and sweat. And so moving through the movements or standing in a stance, whatever the school is about. And so if you're new, by the way, to the channel or a new subscriber or new, I say thank you and welcome you. And I used to watch shows like right in the middle, like a series of shows, and I was like, what are they talking about? What's this all about? So, sorry about that. We're known for street racing in the middle of the day. Anyways, and then I've learned the lesson of go back to the very beginning, learn who the characters are, what they're doing, why they are doing what they're doing, and all that, and then move your way forward. And maybe that would be the best thing to do with my videos or learning about me if you're interested. And I'm quite different, proud to say. And so, and I'm trying to work through the idea of really what I call the gap or missing areas in training that leave people a little bewildered or confident when maybe they shouldn't be so confident, upset because they're not getting what they want out of what their goals are. So I've done a few videos now. I'm kind of pumping them out, proud to say, and enjoying this. And so probably going back, and I have like little pieces in all the different videos that I'll just randomly bring up like I'm doing right now. And it may be interesting enough to see where I'm coming from a little bit more, understand where I'm at now. But these two last videos will be the 4 pillars of a completed training system. I think that's what I had. And changed the name a little bit and filling what I say is the gap. And so why you see a system and oh, that doesn't work, or it's like whoa. Let's just talk about how to have all the right pieces, for a game, like a board game. You have to have all the pieces, and so it all makes sense. And so that's what these 2 last videos are about, the 4 pillars. Well, I've done the first 2. The second, by the way, the recap is the second one is what I call form in action. And so that could be, so a lot of people, I had no idea that Wing Chun was going to be so big still, but like Chi Sao or push hands in Tai Chi, a lot of people know what that is. FMA, it's a certain type of stick connecting with the other person. One's called heaven, one's called earth. Those are really good examples. Or Hubab Lubab, which means tying and tying, or I'm using a loose translation of getting caught in something and then unconnecting with it. And so that you do person to person, and I guess you could say basically, I hate that word, but that both people are doing the same thing or giving the same feed, or so back and forth, like working with like a hook or something or an uppercut, and you each get to do the same thing on either side. What you're doing is you're applying your form whatever the form is, to a specific idea that's happening. Again, like we'll say a hook. And so how to apply your form, not suddenly you're doing something different, but what you've learned in level 1 to the level 2 is like just putting it in action, putting it together with something else. So it doesn't even have to be, it could be a sensitivity drill. Like I said, like more like push hands maybe, or a single hand chisa, or something maybe your teacher's made up that's kind of cool. I bring up these same systems a lot, but there's other systems that do these kind of connective sensitivity form in action, because I'm kind of coining that idea. So it's not combat, it's not sparring, it's none of that. It's just, what have I learned and how can I put it into a context I can understand and practice it. Somebody grabbing your shoulder and like hooking their arm and pulling them down, whatever. Okay, so you get the idea. And so part 3, okay, so those 2 parts to me are each a cornerstone to a square building. So you need the other 2 corners, and so is that even happening? I mean, I think a lot of times part 2 doesn't happen. I watched a school, they never did part 2. They did a lot of part 1. They did a little bit of what I don't even know, maybe it would be part 2 in a sense, in their own way, but sort of, kind of. So maybe you could say that was happening. I guess a good, like in Taekwondo we used to do specific kicks, specific footwork where you shift one way, the other way, then you kick with the front leg. Shift one way, the other way, then you kick with the back leg. So you're just applying, you're going further than just doing a kick in the air. And so you're kind of applying it to something. And someone would hold like, that little slap pad thing. And so that would, for me, that would be form in action. You're not sparring, it's not combat, but you are applying it with somebody. And so, okay, so let's get to part 3. So maybe part 1 and part 2 happens a lot more than I think it does, but it does. I kind of admit, at least for a lot of schools, I would hope. Okay, so part 3 is kind of a big one to me. And so, again, this goes back to, is it martial, is it just art? What is your school offering? What do you want? What do you want out of what you're doing? Are you getting your goals? Are you at the right place? Should you expand your ideas? Maybe look at something else, bring something else in, bring in weapon training that some schools, you never see weapon training, or like I was saying in one, whining and bitching that it's so archaic. It's like, why are you even doing it? And slow and ridiculous. And so, so the reason I'm saying that is because of part 3, is your school offering you things to hit and timing? Okay, so I was going to actually create another video as a sub to this one, and I said no, I'm making some changes there, and something else I'm going to talk about too, because I think about things, I think it through, I decide, I weigh it out, and so. I'm just going to talk about it. So what I call part 3 is apparatus training. And I've been going crazy on that with the mook jaw. And I'm still not even halfway through the 20 key principles. There's even more. I'm going to have some like other ones. And so what is your school offering as far as, or I'll turn that around, you should be training on different types of apparatuses. It's just part of combat warrior training. You're hitting things that move really fast, like this. Okay, this is the ball, and this is a great tool. You can do so much with it, way more than you normally see, which is what boxers use it for. But you can go way past that using this, because it's a tool. I hate to call it a tool, but for you to expand your mind on. And I do all kinds of weapons on this. It's pretty durable. So training weapons, not like a sharp blade or anything, but you can do a lot. And that's a whole nother area that I'm going to do to go look. Don't just do what I'm okay. Let me reword that. There's so many videos, but there's a few on martial arts stuff, but but mostly it's still empty hand, or it looks more like boxing. So there's more you can do with this, and so that's one of the apparatuses. The Mokjong, gone over crazy. So that's number 2. This is in my school. Number 3, and I'll just turn this, is this guy's new, and I talked about I'm going to do a giveaway on it. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Hopefully you're not getting seasick. Is, believe it or not, move my hand the right way, that is a great training module. See, I didn't say tool. There's so much you can do with it that I've been going crazy with that, and that was like $40. And so it's not just a kid toy, and it just moves around, and there's that. Don't worry about the resistance. It's an amazing timing. It's very difficult. So I'm using that stand-up, what do you want to call it, airbag, to, sorry, I'm going to try to hold this still, in many, many ways that is very complicated. And so it's just, your imagination is what limits you. And then let me go a little further. See, oh, there's the guy. Let me see, there we go. I know I'm a professional, anyways, doesn't matter. And then that is a wrecking ball, and that's the, they said it came soft or harder, and I said, I want the hard one. But that didn't sound right. And that will break your wrist. So somewhere in your school, there has to be something heavy and really almost impossible to move around to see, is your alignment correct? Is your muscle alignment with your bones correct? I mean, there's so much. I'm sorry. You can do with that. Let me just finish this. And then there is a jujitsu man. Yeah, he's hanging. It actually scares people who come over. And I use that for weapon training. But I take him down also for doing chokes and the wrestling stuff that people are telling me to do, like I don't know. And so you can do a lot with that. But right now I'm using that for a lot of my Filipino. I can actually use the wrecking ball for Filipino, and even that, and even my other Mokjong, I use this one right here, which is, I don't hit the more expensive ones, because that's stupid, but, with weapons, but I do hit this one with weapons, and he's okay with that. And so those are the tools that are in my outside dojo, or Kwan, and so I'll just hit back. And so those are there's more. One of the things that I also really like, because it gives you strength and flexibility, tendon and ligament strength, but it allows for freedom. Well, I just said flexibility. Are these these cords? I call them rubber bands, but they're not. They're rubber cords, and they're inexpensive. You can hook them up anywhere, and I do a million different ideas that, I watch some videos, they're doing the same old stuff. I get bored. And one guy's really good, and he can take you through 10 million different types of exercises for chest, flies, tricep, bicep, legs, whatever. But I'm doing things with it for the martial artist, and so a lot different, and a lot of it for the jiu-jitsu and for twisting and getting in weird positions and ways that your tendons and ligaments would normally not, where you would have to find strength in that position if you got twisted or pulled or whatever. And to me, it's actually just very good for you going to Chinese medicine that I was talking about, is that it opens up meridians, and it opens up stagnant fluid and stagnant blood and just stagnant areas where disease likes to hide, and opens it and frees it. And so you could think of it like your lymph. But your circulation, even your nervous system, needs to be exercised and moved. And that's why you feel good when you exercise, and you usually feel really good when you do more of like a yoga type exercise, which is like a martial art, any type. You're usually doing something that's yoga or based on Shaolin, stretching and Buddhist ideas of healing the body from the inside out. So that's why people usually feel really good, and they like maybe just do a class for exercise and to feel good and to open their chi or ki or prana, whatever. So anyways, so the wind's blowing, which is normal here. So really, I pushed part 3, and the reasons for all of these apparatuses and this type of training is for endurance, strength, power, and speed. So you can do a lot by doing forms, but you're not getting, you're missing so much. Or let me turn that around, you need more than that. The training, the iron body, the iron arm, leg, I haven't even talked about the legs, the leg right there and smashing into it. There's nothing like it. And my saying, once again, is either you do or you don't. And so all of this different training is really good for you. Is it enough? No. So that's part 3, but still not enough. So part 1's forms, part 2 is forms in action, part 3 is apparatus training. And there's wall bags, there's other types of bags, there's a Mexican double-ended bag that's interesting looking. There's just so much stuff that you can go crazy, and I think almost all of it's really good for you, and not just good for you, it's part of a combat training system. And so just something to think about. Now, if you love your school, everything's great, but maybe you're going, maybe I need some of these other things at home, save your money, or you have the money. This is very inexpensive, this ball, and if you don't want to hook something to the ceiling or you just can't, and by the way, this is not hooked to the floor, put my hand over here, there's a bag thing that you can buy, and it's like amazing how much stuff has been made where it's attached to it and you put water bottles in it, filled water bottles, and it works fine, it works great. So, but it is attached to the ceiling out here in our patio. And then the bag over there is something, maybe that's even better. It's different, but it's close, and they're all pieces of the pie. And that one, the timing drills and the speed drills and all that is, to me, it's essential. So that, maybe, even starting with that, like I said, I think it's 40 or 50. I don't even think it's $50. I think it's like $40. So, and I like that one, once again, that I mentioned the other day, is that it has bungee cords. But I'm going to replace the bungee cords with these because they're crappy ones. They're rubber. This is the way it is. The first one broke already, so I'm like, these are $8. So it's worth it to me just to spend $8 more and then have something that I really like, and I can change the tension if I want to put a couple knots in it and make it really tight, or even just a nut. So anyways, that's part 3. So let's get to part 4, which is kind of the top of the line here after getting through all this different training. So if you do all of this, then you have to apply it. And it does mean you have to have a partner or someone or your student or whoever. That's just the way it is. And so maybe in your school you don't do this, but maybe you find someone who's interested in doing a little extracurricular training. And this one, there's 3 parts to it. So let me break those down. The first one I call known attack. So I was kind of alluding to it earlier when I'm in Hubug, where I'm saying someone throws a hook and you intercept, or you catch it, you roll, you fly, whatever you're going to do. Okay, it's not up to me, but it's that. But with this is more of the thing that people barely ever talk about, causing pain. So you don't want to cause a lot of pain. So in this training, the person's going to wear, at least to me, the minimum is a focus mitt and a forearm guard, and maybe a shin guard. And that's the minimum. Even minimum to that would be, say, forearm. And then you're applying your counterattack, let's say, to the forearm, and stopping something and seeing what it really feels like. And if you've never done that, and maybe causing a little bit of pain, not a lot, but it's like, oh, that one hurt. but they can keep going. They can keep throwing it instead of doing a bare arm. And most people can't take it. You hit some nerves. You understand the different acupuncture points or vital points, and or even just areas that are a little more tender, and they're not going to hang around with you too long. So, but if you put the forearm guard on, you can kind of strike through it. You still can penetrate your energy and cause some pain, and start seeing, taking what you're learning from part 1 and then applying it to part 4 as you go through all these different sections, and able to make it work, see how it goes. I brought that story up before about the young lady who was so rude and came into the school when I was just so bent on taking, it was Charlie Fudd, and taking these forms, you do so much of them, and applying them to just the way people swing their arm. Like I said, I always said, like a hook, an elbow, whatever it is, straight punch, jab, I don't know, we did everything. Someone trying to grab you, takedowns, blah, blah, blah. I had fun with it. I mean, sometimes it was like the Wing Chun guy, sometimes it was the street guy, the boxer, the sucker punch. That's up to you, once again. This is for me, not to tell you how to do it, but just what I'm doing or my thoughts are, and are you getting what you need out of what you're doing, and not just kind of pretending and then not really feeling confident if you really come down to the situation of a self-defense combat situation. And so I don't like repeating words, but I just did. And so that's part of it. But in the first part, I call it the known attack. You know that your partner is going to deliver something, a front kick, whatever it is. Okay, I don't care. They're stepping up on you, whatever. And so you know. And even when you know, it's very difficult, and to different degrees with different people, to apply. It just is. It's some people are a little more natural, some people aren't, whatever. But to apply what you've been doing, your system. And so now veering from it and collapsing and throwing everything away, and as I say, then you're just doing mush. It's like you are applying, as my one Sifu said, your art. You've got to be able to apply your art. And then, okay, so the second part is semi-random. So let's just say you add 2 different counters. And so let's say with a stick, if you're doing a Filipino, someone throws a 2 and they're going to throw an 8 with the right hand. And you don't know which one, but you know it's the 2 or you know it's the 8. So it's random, it's semi-random. It's not random where you don't know what's really coming, but you sort of know what's coming, at least from those 2 points, maybe even 3. And so, but it's not random. You know, it's just multiple known. How's that? It's multiple known attacks. So that brings you up another level. And then, and that's hard. Because you're tense. You're thinking, oh, is it that one or is it that one or is that one? Is that one or that one or is that? And then we move into random. And so let's go back to the boxer. So let's say the boxer, a coach, and I don't know how every school, every coach, everybody is totally different. So you don't know, the school is a school. It's different as every little snowflake is different. Every pebble is different. And so, but let's just say in some schools, boxing, you work on dodging a hook or whatever you're going to do, or your footwork, or countering with a cross, or whatever it is, or learning how to cover up. And so that hook could come from one side or the other, and that's kind of semi-random to me. And you're doing your counter, whatever the counter may be, whatever it is. It's not my business. And then and then you get into the random where you're actually sparring, and it's okay, anything goes. You can throw your uppercut, they can throw their hook, they can throw the jabs, whatever. It's a real sparring match using your ability based on skill, which could be, skill isn't just how to punch or having a good strike or whatever it is. It's more than that. It's timing, it's distance, it's using some type of, you can predict, like maybe you're good at seeing how somebody moves, oh, they're going to do a kick or whatever it is. So it brings you up to even that level. But still, you should be applying the same thing from the beginning to the end. So it's kind of completing the circle. That's what this is about. Now, maybe it's not about that somewhere, or you don't think that's what it should be, and that's fine. But I do. And so, and some systems are a little more cut and dry to what you do in all your training is applied in when you get to the free form part of the training or what you're doing. Or and I was thinking about when you're in the military, you learn. You don't predict. There's no way that someone says, "Well, you're going to get ambushed 10 times, or you're going to shoot 332 bullets, or you're going to pull your knife 40 times." You don't know that. You don't know what you're going to do. So all you can do is prepare the best you can in the skills and knowledge that have been given to you to the highest level as you can. And then what happens. What's going to happen, you don't know. Police officers, there's police officers who've never pulled their gun. There's others who pull their gun maybe 5 times, 6 times. There's some who've shot people. There's some who haven't. There's people, you don't know. The spray or the non-lethal, the electrical, you don't know. Nobody knows. So this prediction thing is ridiculous. And so the best you can do is to apply your system to the fullest extent and stay within that realm. And so my point is, some systems I do believe, and it's, I'm not trying to be biased, but I do believe are a little more cut and dry to the point, where others are maybe a little bit less, or you're not going to be able to remember everything, and that they're just a little more complicated. And maybe some people could be good at using all the different complicated or multiple moves or ideas, but some systems are a little more less than that, and which makes them maybe in some ways more advanced, because you don't need to know a lot. When I was teaching a free class here, there's like 12, I was using the 12 strike method, which is very Filipino, and I was like, man, I couldn't even get past like 1 and 2 for the average person. And I'm thinking, I'm only going to show them like 1, 2, I think 3, 4, and a 12, which is usually an overhead straight in. And she didn't even get there, and not even close. And so even that, and that to me was not a really complex thing, but it's all relative. If somebody can get it, or if it's hard to teach, or you can't even get past 1 and 2 in the ideas and the angles, then it's all kind of a relative thought. And so sometimes simple, actually that's one of my it's one of my key principles, is simplicity. Is you're not going to be able to remember all this stuff. I'm so against a laundry list, or if this happens, you do that, and that guy's normally going to do that, so you'll do that. And it's like, there's no way. Don't believe in that crap. You don't know. Just train. So what's the other side of that? Train yourself to be, let's say you're a dull knife, and sharpen yourself. Keep sharpening till you're razor sharp. And even then, anything can happen. Some punk from behind can kill you. So you don't know, unless you build that ninja skill or whatever it is. Nobody knows. Nobody knows their fate. But can you bring, and what I always say is the percentage up, even 1 or 2 or 3%. Who wouldn't want that? So bring it up as high, as you possibly can, to be prepared, and for reality, for street reality. And so I believe everything I'm saying, all these ideas, is about that. Is about, if the gap's here, at least maybe we can't completely close it, but we can bring it to here instead of just this wide open. I'm trying to get my hand wide open, and everything comes through, is flooding through. So maybe we're trying to, it is a very Wing Chun idea of closing the gap here, keeping our center line protected. And so, that's what this is. This is my ideas. So part 1, form, part 2 is form and action, part 3 is apparatus training and all the things I talked about, having stuff, and for different abilities, training abilities. And then the last part is, and I didn't really say, but like like I said, focus mitt and forearm training. And you can get a lot done with that and learn a lot about yourself. I did the other story about the young lady, the other one who was very respectful, and she could barely move the focus mitt. I'm like, what, you're a black belt? And I wasn't ranking on a black belt. I'm just like, there has to be a certain level of being able to do something. And don't you think? I mean, you tell me, am I being a jerk, or am I being realistic? Because I care. Someone's going to walk around and think, I'm going to black belt. Well, you should be able to somewhat smash a forearm, something. And that's a problem. And so I'm not here about to complain about it. I'm here to say, fix it. Fix the problem. I'm here for solutions. Like I said in the fire department, if you brought a problem, you bring the solution. So I'm about the solutions. I'm not really about saying I'm positive, but I don't want to say, that's stupid, and walk away. And that's, that doesn't serve any good to anybody. So that's why I'm spending my personal time doing this. And I've hit the 30-minute mark once again. I must have like a little clock inside that just, goes off. But anyways, time for me. Oh, so tonight one thing I'm going to do is, I was going to do one thing, then another for level, key principle, Mokjong number 10, and I've changed it one more time. And so what I actually want to do is, this is an interesting one, single-handed counter-striking or striking. And so maybe one hand is hurt, maybe one hand's holding something, maybe you're holding your child, your wife, whatever. Well, you don't have a hand, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You maybe one hand, and so have you ever put time into that? One-handed, the one-hand Kung Fu master. So that's what we're going to do tonight on number 10, and then we'll resume back to the normal listing. But that one's changed up a little bit. It was going to be sticky. I didn't like that. No. And then I've changed what I was going to do, talking about symmetry and mirror training, and I'm putting that somewhere else. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. So I'm going to warm up on this and then probably do the video and get a couple of videos out. So that's it. I'm going crazy with the videos. Thank you for watching. If you got to this point, I really thank you. I know I'm wordy, and that's just how I am. And so, but I hope you get a lot out of it. And I've come up with an idea for the giveaway. I think maybe I can give away 2. What the heck? And so I'll let you know about that later. So maybe a couple of people can win during Christmas, because hey, it's a Christmas time, it's having to give of yourself and give things, be giving. And so, which is the Bruce Lee bag over there. Hopefully they're still making them. And I'll do some lessons on that when it gets closer to that. But I have a way. I was thinking, well, how am I going to do this? And I came up with something. My brain, a little mind. And so, anyways, be super safe, train super hard. Be nice to. I'm not telling you to, but it's always good to, be nice to the waitress or whoever. I'm sure you all are. Maybe you're not, but I don't do things because I want something back. I just feel like it's just to be a good person to the world. That's kind of, the world's, like I said, nothing's really changed in a million years, but to be a good person and be thoughtful and kind. I'm just saying this, I'm saying this for me. I'm not, I'm not a preacher or anything, but sometimes we can be a little sharp or whatever, and then we have to, go back and think about it, and we don't want to feel bad about anything. So I guess I'm telling myself, always be good. So I'm going to be a good boy. Anyways, thank you. And one person's just been awesome. And so his comments are amazing. He actually mentioned the book, that if you're out there, I'm going to I'm going to see if I can read the book and then maybe push it a little bit. Push the book. And it's the philosophy, I think, and history of Kung Fu. So it sounds pretty damn cool. And I like books. I'm a big book person. So I'll check into that. Anyways, I'll check back with you probably tomorrow. The ball's rolling and it seems to be the snowball's getting bigger. It's not a Rolling Stone gathering moss. There's no moss on me. There's no moss here in Albuquerque, let me tell you. It's dry. So, but it's wonderful. All right, have a nice evening. Take care. Bye-bye.